everyone, you're welcome to our first edition of Missionaries Hangout with Campus Momentum. Campus Momentum is a missions agency that's involved in mobilizing. So I am Enobong Odobam. I'll be your host. With me is
Lady Mercy Akbaneyan. You're welcome to Missionaries Hangout. Okay, so we'll be having 4 panelists today on our maiden edition. Pharmacist Samuel Ekwere. Samuel Ekwere is a confident, enthusiastic, and hardworking young pharmacist with a sincere passion for the kingdom. He just completed his internship as a virtual representative at GSK Pharmaceuticals, Lagos, Nigeria, and he bagged numerous certifications in sales, customer service, and marketing. He is also a missionary pharmacist in Campus Momentum, where he serves as director for fundraising and project management. Yeah, welcome to Missionaries Hangout, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We have Righteousness Akbaituk. Yeah, welcome to Missionaries Hangout, ma.
Thank you very much.
Righteousness Akbaituk is a biochemist, an entrepreneur, a medical doctor in training, and a peer educator with 7 years of professional experience. Thank you so much for being on this show today.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so to my right, we have Abraham Emmanuel. Abraham Emmanuel is a young Christian passionate about projecting Jesus Christ as Lord through instrumentality of art. Let's not forget, he is also a practicing nurse, a graphic designer, and a Christian filmmaker. You are so welcome, sir, to this show.
Thank you very much.
And finally, but not the least, we have Precious Ekpotu. She is a 500 level pharmacy student from the University of Uyo, Nigeria. She is a member of the International Pharmaceutical Federation, FIP, and the Pharmacy Education Coordinator, Regional Project Subcommittee at International Pharmaceutical Students Federation, IPSF, African Regional Office. Ms. Precious Ekpotu is a lover of God and is passionate about raising godly teenagers. She is the founder of Amazing Ladies, a mentorship program aimed at raising excellent and God-fearing ladies. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence today, and thank you everybody for being with us today.
Thank you so much for joining us. I must confess, you all look beautiful, smart, and intelligent.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, our main theme today is what is mission, missions, and why missions. So, Samuel, I think you'll be answering our first question. What is mission? What is missions? Is there any difference?
Yeah, actually, for a layman, actually, because what we're trying to do is to make people understand what this is about. God is a God of missions. He's a God on a mission. And what's that mission? To be known, to be loved, and worshipped. That's God's mission. Now, what then is missions? Okay, missions is the work we do as missionaries. I'm still going to define who a missionary is. So, if God is on a mission to be known, to be loved, and to be worshipped, then who carries this message? Okay, so mission is God's desire to be known, loved, and worshipped across the nations of the earth. Okay, now when we talk about missions, it's the work, the going, the act to make God known, loved, and worshipped across the nations of the earth. Then a missionary is now the person that actually does the work. That's for a layman, actually.
Wow. So a missionary does not necessarily have to be a tag, like a missionary. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Righteousness Akbaituk, you'll be answering our next question. Mr. Samuel has explained mission. There is a word, evangelism. What is evangelism? Is there a difference between missions and evangelism? Do you care? Please explain.
Okay, so what's evangelism? Actually, evangelism is actually proclaiming the good news, seeing Christ out there within our locality or probably even out of our locality. What's the difference between missions and evangelism? Well, in evangelism, we understand that mission is actually the subset of evangelism. It's just that missions you're doing is different. It's different. You are crossing a cultural and then a language barrier. That's one of the major differences of this. And actually, you do not necessarily need to cross oceans and everything to cross that barrier. Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah. You can do that with social media.
Okay.
You can do that in long ways. Okay. So now, talking about evangelism, we did say that evangelism is actually proclaiming the good news.
Okay.
And there are different aspects of evangelism. We have the easier evangelism where you have to proclaim the good news and within your family and within the church. That's the easier evangelism. And then you have the E1 evangelism where you actually take this gospel to people of the same language and the same culture. Right, that's the E1 evangelism. Then the E2 evangelism is when you take this good news to people with a slightly different culture or language. Then the E3 evangelism, which is what missionaries actually do, is taking this gospel to people with a different culture and a different language.
So you can cross oceans in that.
Yes, and you can also do that on social media.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So now, what the missionary actually intends to do is to actually get these people, when they get this gospel across to them, is to do E1 evangelism, where the people in that particular locality get to take that gospel and preach to the people, reach out to the people amongst themselves.
So it comes full circle.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for that.
Well, that's impressive. Thank you so much. It means evangelism is very important. Precious, I'm now very curious. How important is missions to God? Please, can you share with us?
Thank you. That's a very, very vital question. Because if you don't know the essence of the thing, you will not put in energy into doing it in the first place. So when we look at the scripture, John 3:16, the Bible says, "For God so loved the world," not people that speak English alone or people that speak French alone, all nations, all cultural backgrounds, all cultural settings. So he not just specified just a particular set of people. And the Bible says that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, nor have everlasting life. But when you look at Romans 10 verse 14, the Bible says, how they believe when you don't even know, when they have not even heard. So if they don't know that this thing has been done, why would they even believe? So the essence of Jesus' calling has not been fulfilled. So it's just like there's light in the room, but you're still living in darkness. All you have to do is put on the switch. So he's eager for people to let people know you just have to put on the switch. So many people have not heard this good news. And that's why we brought Jesus Christ. And now, before Jesus left, he said, just as the Father has sent me, I have also sent you to bring this gospel to people. And that's why he said, go ye therefore into the world, preaching to all nations. That shows how important God is about raising witnesses in different nations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Wow, that was really interesting. So we've established that God is really so much interested in missions, and I would like to ask Miss Righteousness. I'll still come back to you.
Okay.
Is missions for all Christians? Then, if it is really for all Christians, what are the roles? What roles can we play in missions?
Okay, yeah, missions is for all Christians. Yes.
Okay.
Well, initially when I gave the differences, I know that I would love to debunk something where people actually have this idea of like, oh no, missions is something that you'd have to pack up your bags and travel. That's the traditional definition of who a missionary is actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like I said, you can do that on social media. They can come over and then you can speak to them. Probably a person from India comes over here. You try to break cultural barriers there.
Yeah.
So now, this missions for everybody. Of course, yes. When God gave the commission and said, go into all the world, He called us believers, Christians, who believe in Him, His Son Jesus Christ. Yeah. So wherever it is you are, whether you have a gift of a pastor, you're an evangelist, you're an apostle, you're a teacher, It's for us all to go out there. Yeah? And everyone, whether you're just being a child, you just give your life to Christ today, or you've been in the kingdom and you actually do not know what to do, I want to tell you that missions is for everybody, and everyone has a role. You can do a lot of things. Yeah, the traditional way is by going. That's what a lot of persons actually have been very, very scared about. Go. Yeah? You can pack your bags and go. Short-term mission trips, long-term mission trips, and then also going. You can go as a medical personnel, as a doctor.
Yeah.
You can go as a teacher. There are opportunities out there who are just like waiting for young people out there to take off. Yes. You can go as a business person. There are nations actually who are looking for people who will be able to come and cultivate their lands, yes, and in agriculture and all that. So you can go as a level practitioner. So there are a lot of opportunities in going. Then you also can send. That's another aspect, that's another role you could be involved in. An organization sending people out there to reach the unreached. Another aspect is giving. In as much as we cannot go, we can send our money and become kingdom financiers, financing the kingdom and sending people with our money. Another aspect also we can also be involved in missions is praying. Praying, yes.
Yeah.
This one, you can do it in your room. You can do it wherever you are. You understand? As the burden comes or whatever, just think about a particular nation or see the burden, see the vision of God, and then pray about it constantly, efficiently, and not being weary. Our prayers go a long way.
So if you all you do is to pray for missionaries,
Yes,
you are a missionary.
Exactly.
Wow.
You're a missionary, yes.
That's good.
Another basic stuff, which is quite basic, is learning about missions. Because if you do not know what missions is all about, you might just look at it as something for some certain kind of persons. You understand? You have to be able to learn about missions. Another aspect is mobilizing. When we talk about mobilizing, it's creating this awareness that other persons actually are aware, talking to people about what missions is all about, so that they can come in and partner, and come in and be involved. That's what mobilization is all about, and that's what campus community is all about, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we see the next aspect, which is welcoming. You know, most of the missionaries who are out in the field, they have stayed there for years, and they get acclimatized to that particular environment. And get acclimatized to that environment, when they come back to their countries, they find it very difficult to integrate with the society. Yes, integrate with the society. And because they cannot integrate with the society, they struggle. So, as a missionary, you can create an opportunity whereby missionaries who are retiring back home get to have opportunities, job opportunities, find ways of providing for them. That's an aspect of mission. And welcoming also can be seen in the sense whereby people who are coming from, probably someone coming from India, or probably someone coming from China, you welcome the person. And then you get the gospel across to the person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very much. It means a white man can be a missionary,
Yes.
a black man can be a missionary, a boy, a girl,
Yes.
man, woman,
Everyone.
fat, slim, tall.
Exactly.
So Abraham, if everybody is free to be a missionary, what then is the role of young persons?
Young persons are very, very important in missions. You know, first of all, you need to understand that the vast majority of the world population are youths. And when you go for missions, you are not just taking the gospel to the older persons alone. When you go for missions, it is the young persons that form the majority of most communities around the world. So you take the gospel to those young persons. Now the role of a young person as a missionary is to be able to package the gospel in such a way that a young person will still be able to get it from his own life. Because generations differ, and as there are differences in generations, there are differences in the way you package a message. Right? An older person will not get a message the same way a younger person would get that message, right? So, for example, during one of the missionary trip we went for, we had to use football. We had to organize a football match between us, missionary team, and and the host community. And after the football match, we were able to now preach the gospel. Now in that way, we have more persons coming around. But beyond that, also there's also the use of social media, because majority of the young persons are also on social media. So the utilization of social media to also teach about missions, create awareness about missions among Christian folks, and all of that. Those things help to send the message of the love of Christ to the young persons among the young.
Okay, thank you very much. That's brilliant.
Okay, I don't know. Does anybody have any other thing to add? The roles of young people in missions?
Yeah. We've talked about the other roles. Young persons, whether they're kids, we can pray. Look for a missionary organization and send them out.
Just to add to that, actually, we're in an age where this is the information age, actually, and you look at a platform like Twitter, just one tweet can reach millions of people all over the earth. And who are those involved in all these things? Young people, actually. So, as Christians, you have a Twitter handle, you have your Instagram, you have your Facebook, you have your WhatsApp. You could do missions with that. Nowadays, people work remotely, for example. Someone is in Nigeria, he's working in maybe Switzerland or America. You're interacting with white folks, white colleagues, and you are in Nigeria. That could be your own mission field. So it's not more the traditional, I'm carrying my bag, I'm packing my bag, I'm going to Afghanistan. No, that's not it actually. So you could stay at the comfort of your home and still do missions as a young person. We also have the arts. People are drawings that depict the message of Jesus, actually. Now, the internet has turned the world into a global village. So, for example, I have followers, I put up a picture of Jesus. You never know where the Holy Spirit can pick that picture and someone in another country could see it. That's missions, actually. So let's leave the traditional, carrying my bag. No. We can use, as young people, we are very creative. Let's bring our creativity into the missions work. And I think we can do a whole lot, actually, as young people.
Wow, I must confess that was a nice one. But I'm really curious, how about places where they are technologically backwards or they don't even have access to technology or internet access? How do you just stay in the comfort of your room via social media and reach these people?
Okay, nice one actually. I would say the Bible says the glory of young men is their strength actually. So in as much as we call them keypad warriors. We also need men with muscles actually to pick up their bags and go to the field actually.
Okay, Abraham, please tell us, how did you get into missions? How did you hear God's call into missions?
Well, for me, I did not, just like my brother said, I did not really hear that God's call. But basically, it all began, I felt I owed God an obligation to always preach the gospel. So at some point, there was a time I was praying and I was like, I was just praying for God's dealings and God's leadings and all of that. So God gave me a mandate to preach to a number of persons and a system like that, and all of that. So I began like that, but that was not actually mission. That was like evangelism. I would just meet people, preach. Sometimes when I'm coming back from the school, or coming back from the church, rather, I'll just meet anybody I meet on the road. I just talk to them as I'm going home, just have normal gist about the gospel and all of that. So, but subsequently, I started becoming involved in medical missions into remote places, like different places. And one of those days, normally when I go for medical missions, I'm always in the theater. I barely come out. So, but one of those days, I said I was going to preach. Actually, I was going to actually preach. So I went out. That was in Cross River State, a village, very remote village. So I went out to preach, and I was just preaching to a number of persons, and you could see how people were just gathering around you. They just wanted to hear what you wanted to say. Like you see, I just lifted up my voice and I looked, and lifted up my eyes and I looked, and I saw other places where other persons preaching. They were also clustered. It dawned on me that there was a desperation for the word of God. You know, that place was very, very remote. We had to go a very long distance. And so from then, I told myself that I would give my life to preaching, taking the gospel to the unreached, irrespective of wherever it is. So whenever I just come across any privilege at all to take the gospel to any unreached, any place that anywhere the word of God has not been heard, I do everything in my best to make sure that I'm able to share the gospel. So that's basically how it happened. No sour.
Thank you very much. That's inspiring. Right, over to you now. You've been very, very active in missions. I must commend you. Please, how did you get this call? How did you get this? Can you share with us, please?
Okay. Just like I said, I also do not get that trumpet sound call. Yes. I didn't get that. No. Actually, while in school, I've actually been very, very passionate about evangelism, reaching out to people and getting souls saved in the crowd and all that. So, getting out there, I actually realized that there are a lot of persons who need to hear the gospel. But missions, I actually got involved in missions when I came back from service. I remember when I was asking God, should I actually come back to this place? I didn't know actually God was preparing something for me out here. I felt I shouldn't even come back to this place. That period I came back, I joined the fellowship, NXS, not student forum at our church. And one of the days, one of us organized the program, and I will not forget the theme. The title of that program was Deadly Wanted. It still rings and echoes in my head. And I was like, what kind of thing is that, Deadly Wanted? It didn't make sense anymore to me then. I didn't understand that aspect when the scripture said, except the corner wait dies. Yeah. So I actually went for the program with my normal mind, and there was someone I had never seen before. Since I came back, a lot of things were new to me. At least I knew a lot of ministers in that congregation, but here was someone who I never knew before speaking. Just a simple man, standing there and speaking there was no much emphasis and all that. He was just speaking so much Jesus. But that day I was broken. Yeah, I was broken. I was like, God. Yeah, I knew I had a passion, but it seems like I am not passionate about this. Yes. So the other was I was like, God, so it means I have to be started this work. When I told my mind, I felt at least I was reaching out to the people around me. And that was where my passion actually grew. And so since then, I quite okay.
Oh, thank you so much for those lovely, lovely, lovely responses. But we would be taking a short break for now. And in a few minutes, we'll be back with you shortly. Thank you. You're welcome back to Missionaries Hangout. So earlier, Righteousness spoke about the different ways each believer or Christian can be involved in missions. And she spoke about, I think, 7 aspects. She spoke on giving, or sending, going. She spoke about learning, mobilization, praying, and even advocacy. So I would like to ask, it's actually going to be a personal question, so I would be asking, is there, okay, Precious, is there a particular, although we know that we can do as much as going through all, or maybe some or one, but I would like to ask, is there a particular one that stands out for you that you feel this is where you should serve in on missions?
Okay, so for me, for now, mostly it is my finances going, but I want to do much more than that, and I feel that God is leading me to use my social impact work, my advocacy for women, and the health outreach is to reach out to people.
That's really nice. That's really nice. Thank you for that answer. I like the fact that it's honest. It's written on your face.
Okay, Abraham, well, you are a nurse. How does your nursing profession come into missions?
how do you best utilize it on maybe mission trips?
Okay, yeah. When I go for missions, depending on the kind of missions anyway, if it's a missionary trip that has to do with medical practice, that we need to engage in medical services and all of that. Yes, I'm always available by the grace of God. In fact, that's what I was called to do, to be a nurse, to pass the message of Christ. Then when I was in year 1, year 2, I used to say that you cannot be a nurse unless you are born again. You cannot be a nurse unless you are born again. So it's that mindset that drives me most times when I'm on the mission field. That the main reason why I am a nurse is to be able to render medical services to people, and in that, with that opportunity, give them the message of Christ's love.
So, Pharmacist Samuel, how do you participate in missions? What is your role?
Okay, for me, I remember one time we were on a trip actually, and we were sitting together. We called I think there were refugees there. So one of the representatives of the refugees came out and started talking about their country. And I remember taking up my pen and writing in my notepad right then, Samuel, show people what to do with God's money. That's what I wrote actually. And throughout the session, all what he said, that was the only thing on my notepad actually. Then another situation like that, I was with our director in his house, and he was talking, and that same day too, I took out my notepad again and started writing what I was going to do with money. So for me, like I said, the first time I really got involved in missions, it was money, it was about giving. So for me, the money aspect resonates with me very, very well. I'm very, I'm very good. I'm very okay with that. I pray, as much as I talk about money, I also give. I make sure that, for me, at least, if I'm raising money, some persons, you can raise money and not give. Yes. That's very true actually. You just like raise money and not give and say that's my fault. I tell myself that if I'm not the biggest giver, I'll be the second best in giving. So for me, money actually resonates with me. I get involved in money. Then with my profession too, I've always told myself that the reason I'm a pharmacist might not be to prescribe drugs, and not it's to get the money in the profession and send it to missions. That's it for me.
That is nice. I must confess that is a good reason to go out there and get into careers. High-paying careers.
We need the funds.
Yes, we need the funds.
Yes.
And that brings me to another question for you, Samuel. Hearing you speak about money and finance, we can see the passion with which you talk about it. What then is the role of finance in mission? Is it important, or how do we make use of finances in missions?
Okay, like Precious said, how shall they hear if someone is not sent to them? We talk about sending in missions, okay? For example, let's use the Afghanistan. I'm in a fight room, for example, I want to go to Afghanistan. I don't have $1 to my name. Do I fly? Or I just tell the spirit, the God of feeling. Money actually, it's the oil, it's the vehicle of mission actually. We need money to get this message to places that you can't reach without the funds. For example, you want to go to a desert land, right? You won't trek. You will die on the way you go to heaven. That's the thing actually. So, but the money makes it's the oil, it actually cushions the effect. Gone are the days when we used to have missionaries, he died on his way to You've not even gotten there, you're already dead on the way. No, that's not. So now, this age, we know that there's a lot of money in the world actually. There's so much money compared to, there's so much money in the world. We have youth doing stuffs on the internet and getting money. That's why I encourage Christians, man. Like you said, get a high-paying profession. Gather the money, bring it to us. We use it to send the missionaries to the field. Yes! People are getting into tech. There are people, I was listening to somebody say, there are people that are making 20 million a month in this country. Yeah. Just imagine say person making 20 million a month, pays tithes. To mission. That's 2 million. You know what 2 million will do for us? So the funds are, it's important. See, money is the root of money. The love of money is the root of all evil, not the money.
Yes, yes.
Command the love of money, bring the money to us. Let's send it to the field actually. So we need Bibles on the field. What do you bring Bibles with these? You bring it to we need to show, we need to shoot films on the field. What do you, the projector, what do you get? Do you use water to power the projector? No, you use fuel and other things to do it. So the transportation is, the missionaries themselves, how do they feed? Are they going to be John the Baptist eating white locusts? So we have to, the locusts are not even available. So we need the funds. And it makes missions, it cushions the hardship that is involved. Yes. And that's the part that I think gets to. Yeah. I remember during COVID, I was always thinking, if it's hard for people that were doing several jobs, they now had the lockdown. Some had savings and all that, and they were touched with COVID. Then imagine somebody in a strange land, no funds coming, nothing coming. That's where I was like, man, we need the power. The bank is money actually. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that passionate response. And as we're speaking, this scripture came to my mind where God said that true prosperity is kingdom spread. So we cannot overemphasize the importance of money or finance. And as he said, please, you can partner in missions in different ways. Including financing. Yes. So you can send your money can grow even if you are not available to grow.
Let me add this.
Yes,
you know, this is an internet age. You have people castigating pastors, they're spending our money anyhow, they're doing this. That's not our aim here. Your money is being sent to the field. If you give us #1, it's accounted for. We're sending it where it's going to get to, actually. We're making sure that this money gets to the roots. The purpose of your money is Jesus. It's the starting point and it's the end. So they say that they're taking our money, they're buying private jets. Well, if we buy a private jet, the private jet is to take the missionaries to do. If we buy an helicopter, it's to take the missionaries to a place that planes cannot land. If we buy a jeep, it's to drive it through the desert and get to places that you wouldn't be able to access those places without those kind of vehicles. That's what we use the money for. So please, send your funds. We need it.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Your sculptors have been so touched. And you are very passionate about philanthropy. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Does it mean that somebody needs to have too much to give?
Oh, very, very, very nice question actually. Okay, I'll use myself as an example. All the students when I started giving formation. So I remember, let me even say personal experiences and everything. My dad used to give me 6,000 for a month. Yes, when I started university. And I told myself I was going to give God 12,000 at the end of the year. So each month, 1K went. Meaning the money came. As a student, 1K went. Then there's this thing we did, miss a meal. Okay, your meal as a student is maybe 300 naira, 300 naira morning, 300 afternoon, 300. If you can miss a meal a day for 1 month, that's 300 times 30 days. That's about 9,000. Men, do you know what 9,000 can do for us? 9K can actually do it. So it's not about I have 20 million, let me give to. No. Bible says if you're faithful in little, you'll also be faithful in much. So we as young people, we might not have the funds yet and all the millions are coming. But until you have, touch touch missions with that little you have. You mustn't have everything. With the little you have, give.
Thank you. Thank you very much. If you cannot give out of the little you have, it will be very hard to give when you have so much.
Yeah.
So that's the starting point.
Yeah.
Thank you. Right. I am sure you also please add to that.
Okay, well, just adding to that, because he said a lot. It's a gradual process. You might be struggle at first. Yes. But then when you're diligent with the help of the Holy Spirit, you can make it a culture and a habit. Yes. So let's take for instance, if you start with that culture, the little income you get, your salary, your savings, and you pick up a portion. Okay, this is for vision. It might be 100 naira.
Yeah.
Keep stocking that, yes, gradually. That's when you give that amount. Well, you in your mind you might think, oh, it's too small, and you are ashamed. How can I give this? No. God wants everything. So far, it's coming from a heart that is right, a good heart, a right heart posture. Yeah. So when you do that, the culture grows in you. Yes.
Okay, we've come to the end of today's edition of Missionaries Hangout with Campus Momentum, a missions agency that's committed to mobilizing young persons into missions. I'm so happy to have all of you here. Samuel, thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
Right? God bless you big time. Precious, I am very, very grateful. Abraham, I am happy to have you. Thank you so much. Okay, it's been fantastic with my co-host, Lord Mercy, a first-class graduate of marine engineering. She's very good, and I'm glad to have you. Thank you.
It's actually been so awesome hosting this edition of Missionaries Hangout with you.
Okay.
This is Mrs. Enobong Udoban, and also a first-class graduate of Geography and Resource Management, and also a lecturer, an outstanding lecturer in the University of Uyo. It has been nice doing this with you.
Thank you so much. Viewers out there, we are grateful to have you. We look forward to having you next time.